Hello, my name is Mauretta, and I'm here to interview Sulondia Hammond, affectionately known as Sue Ham, in regards to her bid for Williamsburg County Council seat for District 5. Please join us. Sue, we all know you as the playwright, the advocate for the arts. We see you doing your inspirational and comedic videos, but now a bid for an elected seat. Do you think people will take you serious?
Well, I certainly hope they will, Mauretta. I know most people tend to think that politicians should be stoic, never smiling, always just about business. And I don't really think that that's fair, because as people, there are many different aspects to us. Yes, I love to do comedy, inspiration. I love to talk about uplifting people as well as inspiring them to start businesses. And so to just hold me to one dynamic is just not fair to me. The reason why I think they should take me seriously is because I've lived in Williamsburg County for the majority of my life, born and raised here. The only time I left was to join the United States Marine Corps to serve my country. After my bid in the Marine Corps, I stayed away maybe a few more years, and then I came back to work with USDA Rural Development. And during that time, I was able to help people clean up their credit as well as obtain home loans. You know, I was working for a gentleman that was like, I don't know if we should give them loans, but I was an advocate for second chances. And so I was able to use my influence to help people, all the while still employing comedy, smiling, and being relatable. So I'm not ashamed of anything that I've done. I love who I am, I embrace it. And I think people should take me seriously, and I hope that they will.
Wonderful, because I think people have this misconception that people or elected officials aren't human, or people in a position aren't human. But of course, there's so many different facets to it, so you own who you are.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I think in today's world, people want to see more authenticity. People are tired of being told, I am this person, I will do this, I will do that, and then they get into these offices and they become a totally different monster. And of course, they do not uphold the promises that was once made. With me, what you see is what you get. I'm going to represent you to the fullest. I'm compassionate, articulate, I'm intelligent, but I also like to, embrace everyone. There's no big me, small you. There's no big you, small me. We're all human. So
wonderful. Well, you touched on a couple of things from your platform that you are running on right now. You're talking about helping out small businesses, education, assisting organizations, also skilled trades, and putting all of that information out there so people can understand what's available to them here in Williamsburg County. So I want to ask you a few questions about your platform.
Absolutely.
In regards to small businesses, what steps will you take to help current and small businesses and to help create new small businesses?
What step would I take to help them? Well, in office, I would simply just amplify the efforts that I'm doing right now. And what we're doing right now is we continue to hold a series of workshops and seminars, virtually as well as inside our studio where we're sitting right now, to help people within the county as well as neighboring counties to better their business, to find funding, to get their businesses registered with the state of South Carolina or whatever state that they live in. Now, whether it be a nonprofit, what I would love to do is to continue to help people get incorporated, to find funding, to create programs that will enhance the lives of the residents of Williamsburg County. And if there are programs that are already in existence, what I want to continue to do, like I said, amplify those efforts, is to help those organizations become better, reach more people, get funding into those organizations, as well as education to better the current programs that we have.
Well, as you mentioned earlier, yes, you are a small business owner, and we're sitting here in Sue Ham Entertainment Studios. Beautiful facilities, as a matter of fact. So as a small business owner, what have you experienced that you would be able to guide current or potential small business owners?
One of the biggest things that I found is that people hoard information. Now, I do know that you should seek the information and you will find it, but a lot of times, sometimes people don't know what to ask. And as I've been on my journey as a small business owner, I've been able to find certain information that I felt that should be public access or public knowledge to the general public, and it isn't. And so one of the things that I want to do is I want to broadcast opportunities for small business owners. Because believe it or not, regardless of where we live, which is Williamsburg County, which has been deemed strategically a poor county, however I beg to differ, there are plenty of opportunities here The unfortunate part is a lot of people do not know. So one of the things I will do as councilwoman is to continue to amplify those efforts in letting people know about the opportunities. I will work with the Economic Development Board to bring in more opportunities. I'll work with our state delegation, our senator, to ask him or her to fight for those monies in Colombia so that we can come back and distribute those to our current business owners. Listen, we all know that the way to help our economy is to establish more smaller businesses. We're really sadly mistaken if we think bigger industries are going to come into this rural town, because I don't think it is. So in order to stimulate that economy, we have to continue to grow the businesses that we have, as well as encourage other business owners to start those businesses and give them a leg to stand on.
Awesome. So essentially making sure that you are a source of information.
Absolutely.
And sharing that information.
And a go-getter as far as going in and getting income. I don't know as far as how much I can do, but what I can do is partner with people who are in positions, who are on those finance committees, who can help to funnel those resources into this county. And I think, unfortunately, we've been lacking as far as leadership and as far as having someone to have that drive to go in and do that. And as a small business owner, knowing how important resources are to the lifeline of a business, I will fight for that.
That leads me to your next platform concern, education. You want to educate people about the resources that are available, but you also mentioned about industries not coming in to this county. People fail to realize that a lot of that is based upon the educational statistics that a particular county has. A workforce, they look at that information and they'll determine whether or not they want to locate in that business. So your platform on education, currently South Carolina ranks 43rd in the nation in education. Of the 9 public schools in Williamsburg County, 4 rank average or good, while the remaining 5 have an assessment of below average or unsatisfactory. With the schools being under the purview of the state, how do you think you can make an impact as county councilperson?
Well, I'm glad you asked that, because education is paramount for me. One of the things I've learned along the way is that it's not just that knowledge is power, but applied knowledge is power. And so for me, what I have been doing for years, ever since relocating home in 2003, is I've been in the schools and in the communities. I would venture to say there's probably not a school where children are that don't know who I am. And I think that's very important as it pertains to education. Kids need to know that someone cares about them. They need to know who you are, what platform you have, and how you are going to help them. And one of the things I will continue to do is continue to go into the schools. I will continue to be an advocate for kids. I would also, as councilwoman, like to work again with the state delegation and the school board to see what we can do to change the statistics here in Williamsburg County. I do know that all learning really begins with a changed mindset. When you change your mind, you change things. When you change your mind, you change the world that you live in. And so I'm a big proponent of mindset training, and we will continue to enhance the workshops that we have, not just here in this studio or in the other communities, but we will continue to go into the schools and see what we can do to enhance those workshops to let the kids know that they are great. The only thing they have to do now is just be great.
You're a PTO officer.
Yes.
In your son's school.
Yes.
At Kenneth Gardner Elementary School?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. So you've visited every school in the district, and in your assessment, aside from what you just mentioned, what other things do you think can be done to improve our schools?
Well, one of the things I would love to see happen are more programs for parents to be able to participate. And I know it's challenging because a lot of our parents, they work late. But maybe if there's something that we can do maybe on the weekends, but still yet at the school, so that kids can have their parents in the school. Listen, when I was growing up, I know what it was like to want my father and my mother to be at the school, but they couldn't because they had to work. And then on those times when they could show up, I was elated. And it made me as a student want to perform better. It made me as a human want to be better. So I'd like to see some programs incorporated on the weekends where we could bring in parents and students and into the school environment, as well as our local politicians. Because here's the thing, if we're going to rise, which we will, It's going to take more than just students and parents. It's going to take local politicians. It's going to take our local community leaders. It's going to take grandmother, grandfather, auntie, and uncles, and so on. And I would really love for us to see a bond that is even more strengthened by organizing activities at the school. I would love to see us take learning make it more creative. I have an arts background. And I'm a firm believer in that kids learn when they are edutained, when we're entertaining them and educating them. And I would love to see some of those programs implemented into the school. Now, that might not be mandated by the state, but I do think that as a local politician or a local leader or a local resident, these are things that we can take upon ourselves and incorporate.
And I love that statement that you made. Not if we improve, we will improve.
We will. That is my belief.
Yeah, I love that positive energy that you just put out into the atmosphere.
Thank you.
Yes.
Before we leave the educational platform, let me just say this. I don't want to come off as if I know everything as far as what is required to make our school system better. So with me saying that, what I mean by that is I would definitely ask teachers, what do you think is needed? How would you like to see this go? Because they're in the pit, so to speak. So they know exactly what's required. But not only would I ask teachers, I would ask the educators, I would ask the cooks, I'd ask the bus drivers, I'd ask the students, anyone that is in that schoolhouse, right? I would ask them from housekeeping to the principal and everybody in between, what do you think can be improved? What would you like to see done? And we would proceed from there.
What skilled trades do you think should be sought after?
Because we have free tuition here now at our Williamsburg Technical College, I think anything ranging from, in the medical field, ranging from LPN, certified nurses assistant, RNs, welders, electricians, plumbers, these are the fields that are really, really needed, I think. And in oftentimes like this, especially amid COVID-19, these are the people that are still being sought after. I paid a plumber $140 for 10 minutes worth of work. And when you can go to one of the highest rated technical schools here in the state of South Carolina for free, potentially for free, why not? And also, if you don't want to pursue a skilled trade, if you just want to get your 2-year degree and then transfer to another school, why not start here at Williamsburg Technical College? One of the great things about that program is if you leave Williamsburg Technical College, you can transfer to another college within the state of South Carolina and the tuition will still be free. But certainly, I would push people towards any field that is involved in the medical field, welders, plumbers, electricians, any of those skilled trades. You make a great living and you don't have to worry about a lot of serious debt when it comes to college. And one of the great things about Williamsburg County is that we do have a college.
Absolutely, and that's one of the resources that people so often forget about.
They do.
That it's right here in your backyard, it's here for the taking, take advantage of it. And we have to salute our delegation for making this college promise. I'm not exactly sure what the title was, but for this free tuition program, we were the pilot program for the state of South Carolina. And so just you being an advocate for that and making sure that people are aware of that is another reason, like I said, you want to be that source of information that you talked about earlier.
That's one of the things I want to do when I get into these high schools now is push that even more. Like, maybe even try to get the children to see, hey, you don't have to leave here to have a great living or to make a great beginning to your life. You can start here, right here at our technical college. Not only do they have, the skilled trades, but they also have business classes, so computer classes. So whatever it is that you want to do, you can start right here in Williamsburg County. Don't buy into that belief that you have to leave in order to do great things. It can start right here and it can finish here.
What skills and abilities do you believe a county council person should possess?
Definitely integrity. You must be a solid leader, and what I mean by solid leaders, you have to have a vision. Not only do you have to have the vision, you have to know how you plan to carry this vision out. You have to be strategic, honest, ethical. You have to be a problem solver. You have to be a community helper, involved in the community. You also, I believe, have to be a team player because no one person can get great things accomplished by him or herself. So, and I will say this, being in the Marine Corps for almost 9 years and also working at the Federal Bureau of Prisons and working for USDA Rural Development, I have been afforded such great opportunities to work with such great people. I've been put into challenging positions that forced me.
Trial by fire.
Yeah, absolutely. No better learning, huh? They say it's the most expensive learning. But it forced me to learn a lot, and it forced me to come up with solutions and not be a chronic complainer. One of the great things I loved about working at the Bureau of Prisons is I actually managed a $33 million budget. We remained in the black the entire time. There was no fraud, waste, or abuse at all. When I was in the Marine Corps, I was a sergeant that was in charge of an auditing division where we had to audit everything from travel claims to the Marines' pay. And I had to ensure that everything was legit because, again, we would be audited by Washington, D.C. And I ran that division. And not boasting or bragging, but we never, ever, ever, ever had any errors or had any fraud, waste, or abuse. That auditing program was ran efficiently. And I thank my Marines that worked under me because we were able to always come out shining, but more importantly, we were always able to ensure our Marines on that base were paid on time and efficiently so that they can serve and fight for our country. I worked at Rural Development, again, still working with finances, helping people with their credit, helping them to get loans, and that was a big deal. So for me, I have a lot of expertise in finance. I have a lot of expertise with leadership. I have a lot of expertise with working in diverse and challenging situations, and I really feel like that will be a super plus to put me on the governing board for this county as I can work across the board with the other team members, not only just in Williamsburg County, but also other entities like the town of Kingstree, town of Hemingway, town of Stuckey, town of Greeleyville. I really believe that if we're all going to rise, it's something that we have to do, we have to embrace. Many times people think Williamsburg County and they think it's just county council member and a supervisor. But Williamsburg County is divided into so many other different entities. And I would really love for us to work together to make this county better.
You've touched on finances quite a bit in your background that you mentioned. We're all aware of the financial concerns that have plagued Williamsburg County this past year. So the skills that you just mentioned, will you be an asset in assisting and ensuring that when you read a budget, that you understand and know the information that's put forth before you?
Oh, absolutely. And here's the thing. If I don't, I know how to ask questions. That's one of the things that I was taught in the Marine Corps, seek information. And because I know how important it is to ensure that budgets stay within guidelines, that you do not go into the red where you're owing money, I would make sure, I would do my absolute best to ensure that the leadership and the years of experience that I've had come together in this position to ensure that we never have this type of budget debacle ever again. I got to tell you this, it pained my heart to hear the second chair council member, Andy McKnight, said he doesn't know anything about a budget, nor does he care to learn. And this is on record, this is not hearsay, this is not rumor, this is on record, where he said this at a council meeting that was recorded. And it bothered me because one of the top official duties of a county council member is to review and approve the budget. Again, a lot of people may not know that Mr. Andy McKnight is second in charge. That means that if something was to happen to Supervisor Wright, he would assume leadership of the county. I did not feel good hearing that, knowing that if something was to happen to Supervisor Wright, he would assume leadership of the county. He's been here 32 years. And the fact that he said he doesn't know anything about a budget, nor does he care, and the fact that our budget was in the shape that it was, it bothered me to the core. I couldn't sleep. And so knowing my experience, first of all, I care. I care about the budget. I care about people spending extra money, when they really don't have it. So definitely I will be using my experience to make sure that doesn't happen. Secondly, I know how to read a budget. I know how to approve a budget. I know how to find line items that are not accurate. I know how to cut down on fraud, waste, and abuse, actually eliminate it because we never had it. So definitely I feel like my experience would ensure that we're never in this situation again. And if for some reason we were to find ourselves in this situation, trust me, it wouldn't be because I didn't care or I didn't know. It would be because something happened that was out of our control, but I would be working tirelessly to make sure that we could get it fixed.
That seems to be, one of the main things that have been a concern for constituents for this past year. Another concern I think that they've had is just infrastructure. And they don't seem to understand that state roads are paved roads, and they think it's the responsibility of a county council member. But since they are state roads, how would you first help your constituents understand that and then assist them in getting the outcome that they're looking for?
Well, first of all, I'm going to acknowledge the concern. I understand it. I drive these roads as well. But a lot of times we put the blame where it really doesn't belong. So first thing we're going to ask them, listen, is it a private road, a county road, or a state road? If it's a private road, I'm sorry, my friends, can't really help you there. If it's a county road, then I'm going to encourage them to go to the county council member to get that rectified. If it's a state road, then I'm going to encourage them to write a letter to the state delegation, or maybe even a letter to Department of Transportation to get that fixed. Because again, we pay taxes and we want to drive our vehicles on nice roads, but also we have to know where to go. And a part of knowing where to go falls on the constituents. Seek that information. And once you've gotten the proper information, now the next step is to contact whom you need to contact, whether it be your county council member or Department of Transportation or the state delegation, to move forward to get that road fixed.
All people want is an advocate.
Yeah.
A lot of times people feel like they're brushed to the side or their concern is not heard. So if you can give them the proper information and guide them through the process, I think that would give them that reassurance that they're looking for.
Well, I have to be honest with you, as a council person, that is one of the biggest things that I want to do, is I want to amplify my voice to reach people and put information out there. Unfortunately, a lot of the council members, a lot of elected officials are not disseminating information as they should. Like I said, a lot of people hoard information, and I want to be the person to disseminate that information. And one of the things I would encourage them about the roads is, like, if you send up one request and you don't hear anything, don't stop there. Continue to send up more requests. Be consistent. And if it's a county thing, even if it's a state thing and you need your county representative to go with you to the Department of Transportation and you're in my district, I will be more than happy to accompany you to do whatever I can to get things done. But it is a process. But the thing is, we have to know where to start. And once we get started, let's be consistent until it's finished.
You spoke earlier about vision. So what is your vision for District 5 and the county?
When I'm elected, it would be for District 5, but I got to tell you, my vision is for the entire county. I think for far too long, everyone has wanted to operate within the confines of their district. I'm only over this district, so I'm only looking out for these constituents. I intend to look out for everybody within the county, because when we have a vision that encompasses it all, we'll all rise together. Unfortunately, one district may do better than the other, but it's going to still weigh us down. So my vision is better education, to continue to help small businesses, to amplify that effort. Also to work across the entities with the other towns to make things better here, to provide more funding for small businesses in these towns, to provide better education and opportunities, to help enhance organizations that can enhance the education, which can then influence people to start small businesses, which then will boost our economy. I think you see where I'm going here. So that is my vision. My vision is for Winsburg County to be thriving. I've seen pictures, I think, of the 50s when down Main Street was hustling and bustling. And I see that vision now. And I really believe that it can come to life. I have not given up. And that's one of the reasons why I'm in the schools. I'm working with the next generation, because they're the ones that are going to go off to Winsburg Technical College. They're the ones that are going to get those trades or get those 2-year degrees that turn into 4-year degrees that come back and start their businesses. Or if they don't go to college, they're the ones that's going to go to the Economic Development Office and ask for an application for a loan, or ask, how do I start my business plan so I can get this loan, so I can open up this business that will employ different people. And I believe, I know it, I've seen it. So the thing is, it just has to manifest. We have to work to make it manifest. I believe that these things can happen and will happen, but it starts with positive leadership. It also starts with someone with a vision. It starts with someone who is active in the community and in the schools and in government in order to make this happen. And I think it also takes a person who's willing to push the state delegation to do more for us. I think right now we're at a point where each of us have to hold everybody accountable. State delegation needs to hold the county government accountable. County government needs to hold the town of Kingstree accountable. Town of Kingstree needs to hold Hemingway, Stuckey, Greeleyville, Lane accountable. We all need to say, hey, what are you doing? Because we can be better. And the only way to be better is to do better. And when we do better, we'll have better. So that's my vision for Winsburg County.
Wonderful vision. And it's a message that needs to be conveyed in everyone and, just disseminated so people can feel that hope, because that's what it's about, having a sense of hope.
Well, my campaign slogan is your voice for positive change. And I really believe that people just need a voice. And just imagine how collectively that voice would sound. We all came together and became positive and moved this county past the needle of expectation, past that, and just exceed what everybody's thinking.
Everybody's singing from that same positive sheet of music.
Absolutely.
Earlier, you talked about getting funding for small businesses or funding for programs for schools. Talk about some of the funding that you've received and some of the programs you've implemented as a small business owner.
Oh, thank you, thank you. One of the things that we received are grants. And if anybody knows anything about grants, it's some of the hardest things to receive when you don't know how to apply for it. So we've been able to partner with the South Carolina Arts Commission for several arts grants. As you know, the arts in Winsburg County has been dead for some while. So we were able to go in and create a nonprofit for the arts, applied to several grants through Walmart. We've applied through grants through FTC. We've gotten those grants from Walmart, from FTC, from several other independent business owners. They've contributed to us, and South Carolina's Arts Commission have contributed thousands of dollars to help us put on our programs. Now, with those programs, we were able to provide mostly free programs for people as it pertains to arts education. Other things that I've done is I've told other business members how they can get money, especially amid COVID-19 right now, from the Small Business Association. I've done videos, webinars, virtually telling people how to fill out the application, what the process is, the maximum amount of money that they can get, as well as the interest rate and as well as the repayment terms. I've had several people reach out to me and say, thank you so much. I applied. I got the funding. My business is going to stay afloat amid COVID-19. Another thing that I've done and will continue to do is share information about equipment grants. A lot of people don't know that if you have a nonprofit here in Winsburg County, you can apply for $50,000 per year in equipment through the USDA. And of course, it's a 75-25 split, which means they pay 75%, you pay 25%, but the money is there for equipment. And I think that that is phenomenal. A lot of people don't know that, and that goes back again to hoarding information and seeking information. So being a councilwoman, here's the thing, let's just be real. I'll be put into more rooms. I'll be able to sit at more tables that has a lot more information that I can now bring back to the community and say, hey, this is what I learned at this particular meeting in Columbia. This is what I learned at this particular meeting in this county, or through this phone call, or through this webinar, and here's what you qualify for. So not only am I going to aggressively seek funding, I'm also going to aggressively seek information and help those who qualify to get that funding.
COVID-19 is changing the spectrum of how the world is today. So I know that has had an effect on how the campaign is being run. You can't go door to door. You can't have these community events where you bring people in. So a lot of folks, will feel, well, I haven't gotten a chance to see her face to face. Or so how do you appeal and how do you even campaign in a time where social distancing is the new norm?
It's challenging. I mean, look at how far we're sitting apart. We've been practicing so many safe routines here today. It's challenging, but here's the thing. This is the world we live in. And that's one of the things I love about myself as a leader is that I'm flexible and I adapt and I overcome. And so, and I love change. So for me, I'm changing with the environment. So what we're doing is we're doing this interview and we're going to deliver it virtually. We are placing phone calls. We are sending out mailers. We're doing food distributions. We're doing everything that we can, placing out signs, everything that we can do within the regulations that the governor has set, and as far as what the CDC has set as far as being safe with regards to health. Here's what I can tell you. I would love to meet each and every one of you one by one individually. But let's be real here. Let's just say there was no COVID-19, and I am out there canvassing and I'm knocking on your door and you're not home. I still haven't met you, but I've left my campaign literature. What I'm hoping is that you will understand, if I had the chance, I would try to meet each and every one of you. But here's the thing, I'm not going anywhere. Put me in the office. We're going to have that opportunity to have that face-to-face. But as for right now, please understand that it's very difficult, very challenging for me to sit down and embrace you, because I'm a hugger. It's very challenging for me to do that right now. It's not safe for me to do that. So I'm doing what I can right now to get my message across, to also let you know what my platform is. But once this is all over and done, and you've elected me as your councilwoman, I want to meet you one-on-one. I want to hear your concerns and your suggestions. So when we get through this, because we will, there will be a time and a place for us to sit down and talk and greet each other. But until that time, we have to effectively run this campaign in the manner that we're running it right now, which is practicing social distancing, not knocking on your doors, unfortunately, using the other avenues that we have to reach you. And we hope and pray that you understand that and that you don't hold that against us. And that on June 9th, that you vote us into office so that we can meet you face to face.
I want to thank you for allowing me to interview you to get the word out about your campaign,
Thank you.
about your platform, and your passion for Williamsburg County. That is something that I can honestly say that I know that you've always had, is Williamsburg County pride.
And it's so funny, you came up with that slogan one day. I actually Googled it on Facebook, and that hashtag, Williamsburg County pride, you were the first person to mention that, and I remember putting it on shirts. And we took a bunch of kids out of the county so they can witness some new things. And that's what I believe in, Williamsburg County pride. So I thank you because obviously you believe in it. You started that hashtag. And I thank you for the taking your time to interview me, but also for also being a very active person in the community, inspiring people to do greater things such as yourself, because you've done some amazing things. So thank you.
Thank you for that. And we just want to encourage everyone to go out June 9th, vote Sulondia Hammond, affectionately known as Sue Ham.
Yes.
Anything else you want to say before we part?
I just want to say, hey, what you see is what you get. I'm genuine. I love this county. I love the people in this county. I want to move us forward. I have a vision. I have a platform. When you listen to a lot of other politicians locally, they don't even feel like they have to give you a platform, right? And the reason why they do that is because they feel that you're just going to be loyal to them and vote for them. They feel like they don't have to show you improvement. Why? Because you've been voting them in, year in, year in, year in, year in. I've come to you with a platform, I've come to you with a website, I've come to you with my history, I've come to you with the things that I have done, the things that I am doing, and the things that I will do. And I hope that you will see that this is not just a vote, a wasted vote, because I know that there are a lot of people right now that don't believe in politics. They think it's politricks. So if you're one of those persons, I'm saying to you, feel my heart, hear my heart, check my history, check my experience, look at what I've done, look at what I'm doing, look at what I say we're going to do, and then if you still feel that way, hey, there's not much I can do for you. But hopefully you'll see that I am a person for the people. I don't just speak rhetoric, I actually take action.